Well met. Hey, what's going on? It's Tech Maki, and this is my Vision series for Lightning. So, Lightning's story is huge, and it goes from Final Fantasy 13, a little bit into 13-2, where she's not actually the main protagonist except for some DLC, I think, and then Lightning returns Final Fantasy 13. So, we're not going to cover the entire story of her l'Cie to Warrior of Etro to the goddess slash Warrior of Bunavelza. Or the Savior, I think that's what they called her during the game. We're not going to talk about all that. We're just going to talk about the l'Cie part, how she goes from regular old Claire Farron to Lightning the l'Cie. So, when she was a child, at this point still called Claire, she had both her parents, and then her father dies when she's young. Later on, when she turns 15, her mother gets really sick and dies of an unexplained illness. And so this part right there that kind of crushed Claire, and now she's stuck taking care of not only herself, but she has to take care of her sister. Now they're orphaned, so she, in order to prove that she's an adult and she can do this, and she's masking the pain of losing her mom, she changes her name to Lightning. Either way, she goes through high school taking care of Sarah, and then she gets after she graduates, she ends up joining the Guardian Corps. And to further support her sister and herself. There, she does very well. She excels at being a soldier, and she actually gets promoted to sergeant. She was on track to becoming an officer, but she kind of gets absorbed in some work that she was doing and kind of loses track of that whole thing. Her goals kind of just fall to the wayside. And so she also ends up neglecting Sarah more and more. She just stops hanging with her. And this is also where she blames herself. She thinks that her neglection is what pushed Sarah into the arms of Snow, due to being lonely. And who knows, maybe that's true, but it doesn't matter, because even if it wasn't, Lightning is determined to break them up at one point. She continually tells Snow for multiple reasons. One, it's because she doesn't like him, and two, he's a member of Nora, and she doesn't support the vigilantism that they perform within Cocoon. So that's her reasoning. She tells Snow to leave her sister alone, and then she just continually tells Sarah to leave Snow, or to leave him, because he's no good for her. Either way, this goes on for quite a while, and around her 21st birthday, actually on her 21st birthday, Sarah gives her a gift. It's this little survival knife she really becomes attached to during the game. And at that same time, when she was giving her the gift that she didn't get to open in front of her, she also tells Lightning that she has been branded l'Cie and she's marrying Snow. She gets furious and just straight angry about this whole thing. Tells her that she's lying and this is all an excuse to marry Snow, to get back at her and blah blah blah. But after sending her away and opening the survival knife, there's an announcement in Bodum that the PSICOM officers or PSICOM troops are coming to purge a l'Cie. At this point, she realizes that Sarah wasn't lying, and she has to go, save her sister. She was a little late on that front. The PSICOM troops do apprehend Sarah, and I think they actually, at the same time, they may have apprehended Daj, which is Saz's kid, and she ends up having to mount an assault on the purge train that was heading to the vestige for the fal'Cie Anima, where they're taking Sarah. So either way, on the train, she runs into Saz, and they fight their way through the PSICOM officers, and when they get to the hanging edge, they also run into Snow, Hope, and Vanille, who are there to also rescue Sarah. And Saz is going to rescue his son. So Sarah, when finally confronting or meeting up with Lightning at the vestige, or the throne for the fal'Cie, she tells Lightning. Sarah tells Lightning that she needs to save Cocoon, and then that technically completes her focus, which is like a mission given by the fal'Cie when they're branded, and she turns into a crystal. And so Lightning, confused, angry, she and the rest of the team attack the fal'Cie. Saz is on board with this because at the same time that Sarah did this, Daj also crystallizes. So they both lost, someone close to them. They attack Anima, they beat Anima, they kill Anima. But right before Anima is breathes his last breath, he does turn all of them, save for Vanille, into Lassie. We're not going to go into their focus at that point, and we're going to stop there because that's pretty much the intro to Lightning. Now, either way, that was a long intro, wasn't it? Lightning does come into the game as a 5-star character, and she does end up going up to 6 stars. She was the first 6-star in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and she was actually a really strong 6-star at the point because she came with natural dual wield. I think some had many, well, there were probably many people who had dual wield at that point, but she was the first one who had it naturally, which made her leaps and bounds beyond the other characters. Either way, she comes to the game as a Lassie and fulfills the damage dealer role. Best stats are HP, MP, and attack. And for her abilities, I'm going to talk about the best ones. She has a huge kit if you look at it, screen wise. But it's essentially, it can be broken down or simplified pretty well. First up, we have her elemental strikes: fire, lightning, blizzard, or wind. It's a single target physical damage. Then we have area blast, which is a AoE, non-elemental physical damage. And then you have auto refresh, great passive, recover MP 5% every turn. She was the first 6-star to have this, since she was the first 6-star. So it was really nice to be able to, especially if she had a huge MP pool, to get her MP back during the fight. She could continue on. Next up, we have Crushing Blow. It's a physical attack to a single target, reduces the lightning resistance by 20% for 3 turns. Awesome skill on bosses for the most part. Then we have Light Speed, which is essentially it's a evade. It's a chance to negate physical damage by 30%, but it's pretty good. I think she was one of the few characters who had that off the bat. And then you have Counter Strike, chance to counter physical attacks by 30%. And then Elemental Blitzes, again, the same elements as the strikes, except it's physical damage to all enemies. You just pick the corresponding element. And then we have Dual Wield, and this is what set her apart. And like I was saying earlier, she has Dual Wield, allows use of weapons in both hands, save for harps and I want to say bows. And this is really, like I said, set her apart and made her so much better than the other characters. As the first 6-star, she had Dual Wield. It was amazing for her. She also has some exclusive equipment that came with the Lightning Edge. I'm sorry, not Lightning Edge, a Hanging Edge event. First up was Attack and Magic plus 10%, Defender, Defense, and Spirit plus 10%. Now, both of these aren't specific to her, but specific to FF13 characters. They're the only ones who can utilize these materia. Then you have her actual exclusive materia, which is Thunderfall, lightning magic damage, and it reduces lightning resist by 50% to all enemies. I personally don't like this skill, but that's neither here nor there. She's not a mage. Anyway, for her limit burst, it goes back to her I want to say her huge ability that you could use in Final Fantasy 13 and in Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. It's called Army of One. It's physical damage and defense down to one enemy. The defense down is 30%, 54%, I believe, lasts for 3 turns as well. The skill is really flashy. The only issue I have with the limit burst is the fact that it lasts so long. Like, her limit burst takes forever to finish. Either way, we are now moving into a Trust Master, and the Trust Master, again, I really don't like this Trust Master, but some people find some good uses for it. I'm not one of those people. I just don't like her Trust Mastery. I think there are other ways to get around maximizing damage without this thing. But either way, it's an 8-star accessory. It's called the Aurora Scarf. And it does defense plus 3, and it enables 2-hit combos. It's kind of like an accessory that does the same thing as a Twin Lance. Anyway, we also have her Espers, which I'm going to use Frit and Diablos. Now, Frit is for the pure physical builds, and then you have Diablos, which is going to be for her arena, or if you want to use it first for her on a event that has humans in it. Now, for the builds, I'm going to go ahead and drop the whole free-to-play thing, because I think the game has been out for quite a while now. There are plenty of free-to-play players that have TMs, so I'm just going to go with low end, which is like a beginner level setup, and then we're going to have the high ends, which are top tier. You're full up with TMs and whatnot. So for the low end, we're calling it the Survivalist. You have HP at 5,106, attack at 498, and your defense is 230. I'm mentioning your defense only because you can actually get it up pretty well in some of the builds. You'll be going to rock in the Enhancer, Tyradiridan. You can also switch these out. You can have the Enhancer or the Blood Sword if you don't have access to Tyradiridan, or something else that can just take those slots, for high damage single weapons there. Next up, you have the Tiger Mask, and then you have the Demon Will, we just got from the newest trial. Heroes wearing an unusual artifact, HP plus 15%, and then 3 attackers. Now, if you don't have the attackers, then you can always slap in attack plus 10%, or if you have access to one of the Guardian TM or Guardian materials, you can slap those in there as well. And the HP plus 15%, we should all have at least one if we've been in the game for a little bit. There's been Lunar New Year event just gave away an HP plus 15% if you completed one of the missions for one of the days. So you can always slap that in there. But again, you can always knock that down to HP plus 10% if you weren't around or don't have access to it later on down the road. Maximum pots, you have 5,736 HP, 254 MP, defense is 260, and your attack is at 549. Pretty decent for a lower end build. Next up, for the first high end build, we're calling it Keeper of Truth in reference to her Eidolon Odin. HP is at 5,467, your MP is at 226, attack at 726, defense at 305. This is a very strong build, and if you don't like the whole Excalibur thing, you can always slap in a Deathbringer, but I'm partial to Excalibur because we will have Orlando. Someday soon. Either way, gear-wise, we're going to go with Excalibur, Sakura Fubuki, Black Cowl, Brave Suit, 2 Bracers, Blade Mastery, and 3 lunge combos. You can always switch those lunge combos out for Seals of Destruction, just to make sure you get that attack plus 20%. And if you're feeling froggy, I know some people are going to be wondering why I didn't throw in a Power Creation. I personally like this build set up better so that you have extra defense for Lightning, in case she doesn't, evade attack with a 30% chance. Plus, you're building her MP pool up even more, because at maximum pot she has 323 MP, which means she's getting much more back on that auto refresh. Also means you can do Crushing Blow a lot more, or in those fights where, like say the recent trial where it's 9 rounds, you don't have to worry about her MP as much as you would say Elsa's or somebody else's whose MP pool is extremely small. Either way, HP is now at 6,142, which of course with the Seal of Destruction can go up, but your MP will go down. Your attack is now at 802, defense is 353. I think that defense is really nice for a damage dealer. It's near tank level defense, so she can sit there and take a beating. She has the HP to survive. Next up, we're gonna have she's gonna be using the Excalibur, Sakura Fubuki. I've already been through this. Why am I saying it again? Anyway, maximum pots, right? I already covered that was maximum pots. Son of a bitch. I'm tired. Anyway, so Lightning, her last build is called Harbinger of Etro. HP is at 5,827, MP at 217, and her attack is at 550. This should be pretty decent for a arena build. Defense is at 221. It's kind of meh, but it should hold its own. Same thing with the Spirit. It's pretty balanced there for defense and Spirit, so she can take about the same amount of damage on either side. This one you're going to be definitely utilizing the Deathbringer, and you're more set up of a elemental and a evasion build on this now. So you're going to be using the Sakura Fubuki and the Black Cowl, but now we're switching out the Brave Suit for a Minerva Bustier. And I think this will help a lot. It's pretty decent defense, and like I said, you're starting to build up your elemental resistances on this one, so you can take a little bit more damage from that Noctis that comes out of there, right? Next up, we have the 20-sided die for the increased critical, the increased evasion. And you have a Ring of the Lucii, which is going to just annoy people because of the holy counter. And then, of course, you have more evasion with this. Blade Mastery to maximize your Sakura Fubuki, Seal of Destruction for the extra HP and damage. Your HP plus 30% to make sure that you're not getting one-shotted, and then you have Discernment to make sure that you don't have to worry about your status ailments. At maximum pots, you have 6,547 HP, 292 MP, attack is at 610, so you should be near capped out on pretty much anybody besides tanks. And then again, your defense and Spirit are staying pretty balanced there. I think it's a pretty strong build for the arena. I've ran into people who are similarly set up, if not more evasion heavy in the arena, and they dodge physical attacks all day. Magic's pretty much the only way you're going to kill them. So I think this is a pretty decent build for the arena. Either way, if you liked the video or you wanted to comment about builds or my unfortunate brain slip up there where I was starting to repeat stuff in the builds, you can go ahead and drop that in the comments down below. Anyway, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. For future content, which we are going to have a nice video coming up next, you can go ahead and subscribe, and as always, I am a Twitch streamer, so you can find me on Twitch. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Maki out.